All right, hello everyone. Here we are, back for another guide here. I'm kind of split on what to do here. I kind of talked about what you can do for this one. You can use a royal ball. You can go out towards the left, and bring something like a cat or a guardian, especially if they're 8, like a guardian 8, for example. To give you that extra range, I'd like to kind of avoid that method just for this once, and maybe go with like a dead royal type and just try to go to the right, see what it looks like. So I do want to just kind of walk you through this because I think it's going to be the best chance for albatross. You can still get it going left, but you're really going to want to be looking at kind of those bigger ball options. Maybe even, power 5. What was the name of that ball? I'm trying to think. It's slipping my mind right now. But let's take a look at this one, the 12.3 here. Power 4. About 9 rings. And ideally, you'll want to keep this up on high ground. So hopefully 9 rings falls just inside there. And what am I doing with my spin? I'm thinking usually about max here. Should be pretty good. And as I mentioned, just try to maybe if you keep it up on high ground, it's going to be easier to make sure that it... So let's just see how aggressive this... Oh, it lands very aggressive. So that shot's going to be pretty tough to pull off because you can see I just pulled it, just to where it was just still up on the top. Keep in mind, as you shift just a little bit more towards the left there, even if you great balled it to the left, for instance, it's still going to be pointed off the cliff. And when you point off the cliff, it might short land. And when it short lands, it may not make it to the fairway. So that is going to be a very, very tough shot. But if you can get that wind resistance down, for example, jewel ball, being able to pull that shot off with a jewel ball, you'll always be able to keep it up on high ground and you won't have to get that aggressive. You can see I didn't use much curl because of the wind effect, and I was able to put it in a very, very good spot. And I just did want to show you that route and kind of show you the technique. And here you can see we'll probably be towards mid-club a little bit, probably plus 10%. Mid-club, I'm just going to probably just use mid-club number here. I'm on the wrong club. I know I'm on the wrong club. So almost 1 per ring. Other than that, ball guide offset is going to be substantial. Somewhere around there. I'll try to do it in 1 pull. Even got a great ball. It's okay because I might not have been even considering enough ball guide offset. So that's not necessarily an issue. That's why I was trying to, make sure, because you could see I probably only did about 3 grids there. It's probably much, much more. And in terms of elevation, it's really tough to know because you are really shooting down to a lower. So you may want to even use, plus 15, plus 20%. Quite possibly, it's very, very, you're shooting down to a lower target without question. Like, it's not even up for debate. You can see that the camera view kind of disappears, and that island is definitely on the lowest ground of all of them for this hole. You can see the height difference. You can see that it's, when you look back up at that view, you could actually see that it's higher because you can see like the cliff overhanging. So it is significant. It is going to give you, your best chance to where you don't need to really overpower and you can actually have controlled backspin and give it a very good chance for that hole. So good luck with that one, guys. Keep in mind kind of those strategies that I mentioned about pointing off the cliff there for the drive. That's going to be your most important part. Anytime that you point off to a lower target, the ball's going to come in lower. It's going to probably, it might clip the rough because it might not make it to the fairway. So keeping it up on the highest ground is going to be ideal, which means you'll probably want something that is good with wind resistance, jewel ball is going to be great for that hole. It's just going to kind of keep you from being able to use side spin on your second shot if you do use that ball. But being able to get that wind down, keep in mind, I did have the highest wind possible. I had 12.3, which means you can't have higher with that ball that I used, dead ball, roll ball. It won't be able to be any higher than 12.3, so you don't have to worry about the ball going more right, which is nice. So it was kind of at max, and keep in mind that it could be as low as a 10, which is going to be even more ideal for you because you won't have to land as aggressive towards the rough as I did. But also remember that tip that I mentioned. If you set up on the edge and you do great ball left, it's still going to point you off the cliff. So you do have to think that. It's based on your release. So the same thing with hook shots. If you were trying to hit some kind of hook shot and wherever you were pointed was pointed off the cliff, the ball might not carry the way that you want. So, with that in mind, it might come up well short if you're pointed off the cliff. And if you great ball left in that situation on the edge of the cliff, it's still going to be pointed off the cliff. So it might not carry the way that you want it to, and it could land, very short and, either clip the rough or maybe go out of bounds. So you do got to be very careful with that tee shot. But what I recommend is kind of playing around with it, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and seeing how you feel about it. And if you just want to avoid that shot altogether, you can just go left later in the week. Good luck there, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.